All right, first review of 2025, and it's a horror movie in January. Yeah, this could get ugly quick, or will it?
Late one night, when everyone was in bed, there was a knock at the door.
A 19th century widow is tasked with making an impossible choice when, during an especially cruel winter, a ship sinks off the coast of her impoverished Icelandic fishing village. Any attempt to rescue the survivors risks further depleting the starving villagers' supplies. This is directed by Thordur Paulson. I hope I didn't butcher that. And stars a couple of solid character actors. Odessa Young as a recognizable face, but I didn't know what to expect, because this is again, a horror movie coming out in January, which we're often getting started with a horror movie. It feels like every single year. Last year, what was it, Night Swim? That wasn't good.
Crap, mega crap.
But I'm going to give this movie props. If there's one thing a horror movie can do well that gets me invested immediately, it's deliver an atmosphere that engrosses you, gets you sucked in, and utilizes the location, right? Well, some horror movies, they're all green screen, but most of the time, they're taking a solid location with hopefully some really good production design and getting you invested in that, making you feel the chills running up and down your spine while you're watching, and hopefully nailing the tone within that. But I thought the location, this Icelandic setting, just the way that the camera moves, kind of getting you on board with the type of story that this is going to be. It's not going to be a faster paced or more upbeat horror movie. Now, there are some scares across the board. There are some scares, some of them that are delivered very well, shocking, unexpected, others that you can kind of see coming, but just the sense that you get when we first see our characters in this movie, you're like, all right, this is, well, it's already better than most January horror movies. It also utilizes the weather of the location as a character, or really just a way to progress the plot or hold things up to a degree that our characters are struggling with. I mean, they're struggling with a lot in this film, whether to believe what is actually happening or not. We'll talk about that. But really just this inhospitable environment and this Nordic village that is already struggling prior to this happening. And you can see that and feel that in the faces of the characters. But then when the shipwreck happens, it throws another wrench into a quest for survival with these characters. And I just thought it was handled really well. And this very small crew, they are struggling with the thought of starvation entering their minds already. But once this ship sinks and they have to decide, all right, do we go help? Do we even have enough food to do that? That's a conundrum in itself, but it's kind of the result of this that provides the real catalyst, if you will, for what happens next. And it's that mounting sense of dread that this movie provides so well that it kind of reminded me of a Robert Eggers movie. Now, I'm not saying as a whole the quality is there, because I do think this movie struggles with two very specific things, but just the look and feel to it all, the sense of atmosphere that you get in an Eggers movie, and I love the color tones in this film, that blue that just makes you feel distant, but also claustrophobic in a way because of kind of how they're approaching these characters who, at first, they hear the legend of what could be happening here, and they're like, we're not going to worry about it. But as things start to go bump in the night, you get that sense of dread along with our characters that does start to build and slowly becomes creepier as the movie progresses. And again, it's a January horror movie. I wasn't expecting all of this. Now, I said the movie struggles with two things, and it does become a more prominent issue as we get closer to the end. It's only 90 minutes long, but it does kind of crawl at times. The pacing is extremely slow, and I believe that's the intention here, but it almost undercuts the end result, kind of what we're building to. And then this story does feel a little repetitious. I started to feel the same as scenes would pass and characters would become uneasy and decide whether they're going to believe in this or not, or how they're going to approach this, their mentality, if you will. But ultimately, the morality of everything that we're dealing with here is interesting, and I thought the way that they approached that was nice. This director, these actors, really solid performances. A couple that maybe aren't Oscar-worthy, but all in all, a really nice job from the cast. And then just the way you're invested in the location and the weather and how that adds in and factors in. I like this movie. I did. I think it was a nice surprise because I went into it expecting nothing. I don't know what the consensus is, but I actually walked out going, okay, who would have thought?
Not me.
So are you watching The Damned in theaters this weekend? Did you even know what this was? Let's start this year off strong. Drop that like if you enjoy these reviews, and I'll try to review as much as I can in January. The Damned ultimately delivers on being an effective and unsettling horror film that highlights its setting well. It lingers and repeats ideas too often for its own good, but the impact is there, and again, there are issues, absolutely, for a 90-minute film, maybe a few too many for some, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Appreciate you for watching. I'll see you soon.